Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah, Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our Sunnah Followers series on prophets and messengers. And today what we're going to do, yesterday we spoke about the books of Allah and how every book, let me see if you guys can answer this question first. When Allah sent a new book down, what happened to the book before it? Who can answer that? Who can tell us what happened to the book that was in existence when Allah revealed a newer one? Go ahead, Sister Jamila. Jamila?
He destroyed the Quran and the Torah after he sent the Quran down.
Okay, that wasn't the question. I want you guys to listen to the question. Wait, let me get this sound down too. Whenever Allah sent a new book, what happened to the one that was in existence? Go ahead, Sister, Brother Tarek, and Yasmin.
He replaces that one with the new book. Everything that the older book had, he puts it in the new book, everything that we need to know.
Exactly. And I want you guys to remember that, because that's a question that a lot of people say that don't know. Whenever Allah sent a new book, whatever book was in existence was destroyed. And the new book would confirm what the old book had in it. And it would have, and what would the new book contain? Who can finish it? The new book would contain, it would confirm what the previous book had in it. And it would also contain what? Who can answer that? It would confirm whatever good was in the previous book, but it would have new what in it?
It would have new laws and regulations.
Exactly. So does everybody understand that? So for example, when Allah sent the Torah confirmed whatever good was in the book that Abraham had, but Allah included in it more laws, more regulations or rules. Then when Allah sent the Bible, the Torah was destroyed, but whatever good was in the Torah, it was confirmed in the Bible, in addition to new laws, new rules, new regulations. And then when the Quran was revealed, all the other books were destroyed. And the Quran confirmed everything that was in those books that was good, in addition to the final laws, the final rules, the final guidelines. Does everybody understand? Is there anyone that's lost on this point? Okay, guys, I apologize for that. Okay, for today's lecture, we're going to speak about, I'm going to answer the question that a lot of people ask, which is, why did Allah not preserve the other books? Why is it that the other books of Allah were not preserved? So preserved. So let me go over this right quick. And again, this is session number 28 of the prophets and the messengers. And we're going to be speaking about why those other books were not preserved? Because that's a question that many people ask. We need to understand that, first of all the books of Allah came from the same source. Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, Alif Lam Mim, none has a right to be worshipped but Allah, the ever living, the one who sustains and protects all that exists. It is he who has sent down the book to you, Muhammad, with truth, confirming what came before it. And he sent down the Torah and the gospel before then as a guidance to mankind. And he sent down the criterion of judgment, which is the Quran. So the divinely revealed books were all revealed for one purpose. And that purpose was to show us, mankind, how to live on this earth. The purpose of all those books was to lead us through teachings, directions, guidance, and laws. So that's the whole purpose of Allah sending the books down to us, to give us guidance, to tell us how to live our lives here on earth in a good way. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. We sent down the Torah to Moses as a guidance and a light by which the prophets who submitted themselves to Allah's will judge for the Jews, and the rabbis and the priests too judge for the Jews. For them was entrusted the protection of Allah's book, and they were witnesses of it. Therefore, fear not men, but fear me instead, and do not sell my verses for a miserable price. And whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed are kafirun, are unbelievers. So here we can see in this verse that Allah is again telling us that he sent all those books down for the same purpose, to be a guidance for us as humans as to how to live in peace with each other, and how to seek our reward with him, Allah. Okay? Human life would not be good unless it received beliefs, rituals, and laws from Allah. We need Allah in our lives, because if we didn't have Allah to tell us how to live, we would be like animals. We would be worse than animals. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. And if the truth had been in accordance to your desires, then the heavens and the earth and everything there would be corrupted. So as man, humans, we need laws, we need rules, we need guidance from a being greater than ourselves. Also, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, when we have put you, Muhammad, on a plain way of our commandment, so follow you the laws and follow not the desires of those who know not. And also Allah says that mankind was once one community, and Allah sent prophets with good news and warnings. And with those prophets, he sent down the books to judge between the people in the matters that they differ. So that's the reason why we have Allah in our lives, guys. Allah maintains the balance for us. Allah issues the justice for us. Allah gives us the guidance and the laws that we need to live decently here in this world. Okay? So, a lot of people ask the question then, why is it then that the Quran is the final book? Well, Allah answers that question to us. Allah tells us that the previous books were sent to specific nations of people, but the Quran was sent to all mankind. He didn't just send a book to the Babylonians like he did with Abraham. He didn't just send a book to the Hebrews like he did with the Torah. He didn't just send, a book to just one group of people. The Quran is for everyone. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. This day have I perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and have chosen for you total submission to me as your religion. Also, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, and we have sent down to you the Quran as the exposition of everything. The Quran tells us everything that we need to know. Also, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, we have left nothing out of the book. So as Al-Hasan al-Basri said, Allah revealed 104 books, all the knowledge of which was gathered into 4 of them. Remember, somebody asked the question yesterday, Brother Merard, who had the first book? I told him it ain't important who had the first book. All that is important is that the book you need to be following is the Quran. Well, look at this. How can I tell you who had the first book when Allah revealed 104 of them? Okay. But of all those books, the knowledge was placed in the Torah, the Injil, the Zabur, and finally the Quran. So the knowledge of all 104 books is in the Quran. So that was the answer I gave Brother Merard yesterday. It don't matter who came with the first book. All the information that Allah put in all the other books is in the Quran. Does everybody understand that? So this brings us to our question. Why were the previous books not protected like the Quran? Well, again, because they were not eternal. Allah never guaranteed to protect those other 100 and something books. Allah left the preservation of those books on their scholars, the scholars of those nations. It was their job to protect those books. So, for example, the Torah, it was the job of the rabbis and the priests to protect the Torah and the Bible. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. And the rabbis and the priests, they judge for the Jews by the Torah after those prophets for whom was entrusted the protection of the law's books. So Allah never said that he would preserve those books because he knew that it was never his intention to make those books final. But the Quran is different. The rabbis and the priests, they failed in protecting their books. They began to change their books. That's what King James did. He rewrote the Bible. He altered things. He took things out that he didn't like and put things in that he did like. But the Quran was different. When Allah sent the Quran, Allah guaranteed to protect it himself. Allah did not leave the Quran to be entrusted to scholars. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Verily, we it is, we who have sent down the Quran, and surely we will protect it from corruption. So that's why it was never Allah's intention to protect those other 100 and something books. His intentions were to do just what he did, replace each book with another. And the final book is the one that he always planned to protect. And that final book is the Quran. And if you want to know what those other 100 books had in them, like the Prophet Muhammad said, whatever good was in those books is in the Quran. Just read the Quran. Okay, so I hope that answers the question that many people ask about why is it that the Bible was not protected and preserved. It was never Allah's intention. It was his intention to protect the final book. And the final book is Quran. All right, we're going to stop right here. If you guys have any questions or comments, inshallah, you can type them on the screen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.